They stole my grandbaby and put a gag order on me. Please tell me I'm not crazy. Username u/realtruth4family. Hi Reddit. I don't normally post online, but I am at my wit's end and have nowhere else to turn. My own daughter, 23F, has completely turned against me because I'm trying to protect my grandchild. Yes, you read that right. My grandchild, a sweet, innocent baby who I know exists, even though my daughter is lying and pretending otherwise. This all started last year when I felt something was off. Call it a mother's intuition, call it being spiritually in tune, but I've been gifted with a sensitivity that has never been wrong. I had a dream about a baby, her baby, crying and reaching for me. It was so vivid I woke up in tears. Then, just a week later, I saw a photo on Facebook of my daughter holding a baby. She claims it was a friend's kid, but I know my own blood when I see it. Same eyes, same dimple. That baby was mine. I reached out gently and offered to help. I said I would babysit for free. I would buy whatever she needed. I would even take on primary care if she was too busy with school. She works 2 jobs. Clearly, she has no time for a child. Instead of thanking me, she blocked me. That's when I knew something deeper was going on. I won't get into all the details, but there are reasons I believe there is a cover-up happening. People in my town whisper things. Certain officials are too quick to say, case closed. And somehow, every time I get close to the truth, my daughter runs to the law to shut me down. She even went so far as to drag me to court, not for visitation, but to humiliate me. She told the judge there is no baby. Imagine the level of manipulation it takes to erase a living, breathing child like that. And the judge bought it. Clearly, he was in on it, because right after that, I was slapped with a no contact order for a year. Now my own family has turned against me because they've been brainwashed. I get messages saying, let it go, or you're embarrassing yourself. But if your child was being hidden from you, would you just let it go? And to the people calling me crazy, if I'm so crazy, how come I've been right about things before? I predicted my niece's engagement before she even told her parents. I knew when my neighbor's dog was sick before the vet did. I have a gift, and it's heartbreaking that no one believes me when it matters most. Please, tell me I'm not crazy. Tell me a loving grandmother has the right to fight for her grandbaby. Tell me it's not wrong to want to protect an innocent life. Edit. For those asking, yes, I have proof. I've saved every post she's made holding that baby. I've documented my dreams. I've even written down the psychic's exact words. The truth will come out. Update: people keep asking for proof. Here it is. First of all, thank you to the people who actually read my first post with compassion and didn't just write seek therapy like some kind of copy-paste bot. I know the truth isn't comfortable for some people, but I am not going to stop just because strangers on the internet think they know better than me about my family. Some of you said, if there's a baby, show us proof. Well, here you go. Photo number 1, my daughter holding the baby at a barbecue. She claims it's just a friend's kid, but look at the cheeks. Look at the hair. We have strong genes in this family. Anyone can see the resemblance. Photo number 2, same baby, different day, different outfit. My daughter cropped herself out of this one before posting, but I know that wall. That's her apartment wall. Screenshot number 1, text messages where she admits, I'm exhausted all the time. That's because she's raising a newborn. Don't tell me it's from school and work. I had kids. I know what that kind of exhaustion is. Psychic's notes. She literally wrote, a child connected to you is being hidden by a young woman. If that's not obvious, I don't know what is. Also, to the people mocking my dream evidence, dreams are symbolic, yes, but they can also be literal. And this one was literal. The baby reached for me and said, "Nana, babies don't lie. Some of you accuse me of harassment. That's laughable. I have never harassed anyone. Showing up to check on someone's welfare is not harassment. Filing in court for what's rightfully mine as a grandmother is not harassment. Wanting to make sure my grandchild isn't being neglected is not harassment. And yes, I've been served with a restraining order, but do you think that stops me from loving my grandbaby? No piece of paper can break the bond between a grandmother and her blood. It's not my fault my daughter is so insecure that she has to cut me off instead of facing the truth. To the commenter who said, "What if you're wrong?" I'm not wrong, period. I've never been wrong about these things. People used to laugh at me when I said my neighbor was having an affair. 2 months later, divorce papers. Enough said. So I'll ask again, what would you do if you knew your grandchild was out there, hidden from you? Would you just sit back, or would you fight? Because I'm a fighter, and one day my grandbaby will thank me for it. Edit. For the trolls, no, I will not move on. No, I will not apologize. And no, the restraining order doesn't mean I lost. It means they're scared of me finding out the truth. Update. People are lying to protect her, but I have proof. I'm back because I can't just sit here while people cover for my daughter. The lengths they're going to hide my grandbaby are unreal, and I'm done being polite about it. First of all, my so-called friends are turning on me. You know who you are, Karen, and don't think I didn't notice you unfriending me the same week I confronted my daughter. Karen claims she hasn't seen a baby in my daughter's home, but Karen also thinks a plant-based diet cures everything. So let's take that with a grain of salt. Second, my daughter's roommate, Lucas, he's been telling people I'm dangerous. That's rich coming from someone who smokes inside and leaves his laundry in the washer for days. I've seen his type before. The kind of young man who thinks he knows everything and gets defensive when an older woman points out his bad habits. Of course he doesn't want me around. Now, for the evidence, blurry photo number 1. A stroller parked in front of my daughter's apartment building. Everyone says it could belong to anyone. Yeah, it could, but it didn't. That's her stroller. She had one just like it when she was little, and I know she would want her child to have the same kind. Receipt number 1. Diapers and formula from the grocery store near her place. Yes, I pulled it from the trash. If she wants to hide a baby, maybe she should stop throwing away evidence right outside her own building. Overheard conversation number 1. I was at the coffee shop across from her work, and I clearly heard someone say, "She's bringing him over later." Now, maybe you'll say, that could mean anything, but the tone told me everything I needed to know. And to the person who keeps asking, why would she hide a baby from you? Are you serious? Because she's stubborn. Because she doesn't like to admit I was right about things. Because she's always been easily influenced by other people who don't want me in the picture. Let's also be honest. I was the one who kept that family running when she was a kid. Her stepfather didn't lift a finger. Her siblings would have been neglected if not for me, and now she wants to act like I'm some stranger. This is exactly what happens when people forget who sacrificed for them. And yes, I did show up at her work last week. That's not stalking. That's being concerned. I wanted to see with my own eyes if she looked tired, if she was eating enough, if maybe she'd slip and mention the baby. Of course, she didn't even come out to face me. She sent a coworker to say she wasn't available. I see through the games. So go ahead, Reddit. Keep telling me I'm wrong. Keep calling me names. But the truth doesn't need your approval. And one day, when my grandbaby is old enough to hear the truth, they'll know exactly who fought for them. Edit. For those who want to see the receipts, too bad. I'm not posting them here because I don't trust half of you not to report me, but I have them, and the right people will see them when the time comes. Update, the walls are cracking. I'm getting closer to my grandbaby. For everyone saying, give it up, you're gonna eat your words. Things are starting to fall into place, and I can feel it. The truth always comes out, and I'm closer than ever. Yesterday, I ran into a woman outside my daughter's building. I'll call her M. We got to talking, and she said she thought she'd seen a little one going up the stairs with my daughter a few weeks ago. Now she was vague about the details, probably scared of saying too much in case my daughter finds out. But you could tell she knew something. I told her she didn't need to be afraid. I'm just a grandmother trying to connect with her family. She smiled, so I know she understood. Then I went by the grocery store again, which is perfectly legal, by the way, and the cashier, a young man with dark hair, very polite, rang up a pack of baby wipes. I asked him casually if they were for my daughter. Gave her name, of course, and he kind of froze and said, I don't know, which, come on, is basically an admission. If it wasn't for her, he would have just said no. And the biggest breakthrough? I got a tip from someone on Facebook Messenger. They won't give their real name, but they said they've seen my daughter with a baby at the park. They even described the blanket, yellow with little ducks. When my daughter was a baby, she had a blanket with ducks. Coincidence? Please. Some of you keep whining about the restraining order. First of all, it's only temporary. Second, it's just a piece of paper. It doesn't erase the fact that there's a child in this world who's part of me, who deserves to know me, and who's probably wondering why I'm not around. Do you know what else I've noticed? My daughter's been quieter online. She used to post every little thing, but now, barely anything. She's not posting because she knows I'm getting close. She knows she can't hide forever. And before anyone says, you're delusional, I have been right about every major thing in my life. My instincts are unmatched. I knew my sister's first husband was cheating before she did. I predicted the exact month my neighbor's son would get engaged. I even knew when the pandemic was going to start. And no, I'm not explaining how. So when I say my grandbaby is out there, I mean it. The next step? I'm speaking to someone who can really help. Let's just say they've worked in law enforcement and know the system. I won't say more yet, but soon enough, the people protecting my daughter's lie will regret it. Mark my words, I'm getting closer. And when I do, the whole world will see I was right all along. Update. The police are involved now. This is it. Well, I finally took a real step forward, and before all the haters jump in with, you've gone too far, save it. Sometimes you have to fight fire with fire. Remember the person I mentioned who had law enforcement experience? We met for coffee. I explained everything: the psychic reading, the photos, the receipts, the tip about the yellow duck blanket. He agreed it was suspicious. Of course he did, because it is. And he said he knew exactly what to do: a welfare check. So we called it in. I told them my daughter was hiding a newborn and possibly neglecting it. I even gave them the grocery store evidence and the stroller photo. The dispatcher sounded concerned. I could hear it in her voice. Fast forward to yesterday evening. I parked across the street, again perfectly legal, and waited. Two officers went up to her apartment. I was ready. I had my phone out to record her face when she realized she couldn't lie anymore. But do you know what happened? She let them in. They were inside for maybe 10 minutes. Then they came out, thanked her, and drove away. She even waved to me from the window with this smug little smile, like she'd won something. A few hours later, I get a call from the police department. They said there's no baby in the apartment and that if I make false reports again, I could be charged. Can you believe that? They didn't even look hard enough. 10 minutes? That's not an investigation. Babies can be hidden in closets, in back rooms, even at someone else's house. And now my daughter is posting about me online again, calling me dangerous and mentally unstable. She even posted a photo of her kitchen with the caption, "Baby Free Zone," like this is some kind of joke. The comments from her friends are disgusting. People calling me Grandma Detective and Nancy Drew without a clue. Real classy. But here's what they don't get. This isn't over. She can laugh now, but I know the truth. That baby is out there, and I will not stop until I find them. She's just gotten better at hiding. Oh, and for those of you who keep saying, what if she really doesn't have a baby? I'll tell you this, I would rather be wrong and try than be right and do nothing. Because if I am right, and I am, then I'm the only one who's actually doing something about it. I won't give up, ever. Final update. The court got it wrong. I'm paying the price for caring. Well, this will probably be my last post for a while, not because I want to stop, but because the system has made it impossible for me to keep speaking out without risking more so-called legal trouble. We had the court date for the so-called harassment and false report charges. My daughter was there, of course, all dressed up like butter wouldn't melt in her mouth, acting like the perfect little innocent. She even brought a folder of evidence, which was just printouts of my Facebook posts and screenshots of me asking questions in the neighborhood group. That's what passes for evidence these days. The judge, who, by the way, looked about 12 years old, sided with her completely. He said, "My actions have caused unnecessary distress and that I demonstrated a pattern of obsessive behavior." Pattern of obsessive behavior? That's called persistence. That's called love. In the end, I was fined, ordered to pay her legal costs, and warned that if I contact her again in any form, I could face jail time. Can you imagine? Jail time for trying to protect my grandchild. And yes, before you ask, they still claim there is no baby. Everyone in that courtroom just nodded along like that was the truth, like the psychic reading, the tips, the sightings, the photos, the receipts. None of it mattered. They're all so smug, so sure of themselves. The cherry on top? My daughter actually smirked as we were leaving. I looked her right in the eye and said, "One day you'll regret shutting me out." She just walked away like I was nothing. So now I have to respect the order. Fine. But let me tell you this. The truth has a way of coming out. Sooner or later, she's gonna slip. Maybe someone will tag her in a photo. Maybe the baby will turn up at school one day. And when that happens, I'll be there. I'll be ready. And if you think this is the end of the story, it isn't. It's just a pause. Because I'm a grandmother, and grandmothers don't quit.